What's up, everybody? Welcome to another reading with the Crown Priestess. This is going to be a spiritual conversation. Now, I am going to use cards as well as exchange channeled messaging. It's a channel conversation, right? But it kind of has a love undertone to it. I don't think that it's just specific to romance, because I specifically I just did a love reading not that long ago, and I wasn't asking for romance, but still spirit brought up connections to me on meditation. So they're kind of like, it was like inevitable that love would come up in that in those like downloads, but not just particular to romance. So just take what resonates and leave what doesn't for someone else. But yeah, so the thing that I was being drawn to most, and it's funny because I just was watching something relevant to this, and so now it makes sense that it came up in meditation, because that's just how spirit works in my life. And it was about attachment styles, right? Like, and how these things are, right? They stem from our childhood. They're like rooted in us very young in life, and they show up in our adult life in different ways, in different positions, with different connections. And how we attach ourselves to these connections. So the big thing right now, and I know that y'all see it when y'all like just whatever you're experiencing in your own life, and I know it's a collective energy, because I pick up on this energy all the time. Like, I see it all over social media, you see it in the news, on TV, whatever. People that I know, when I'm having conversations with them, these are the types of things that they're experiencing. And it's like, so many people have this avoidant attachment style now. Like, and I don't, at first I felt like it's a trend, right? Like, because people are very influential, and people are easily, influenced by others. A lot of times characters, one's character can impact another's in many different ways, especially if these people are already prone to being influenced. Everybody doesn't have, unfortunately, a really strong personality. Some people are rather passive, or they are naturally sort of, I don't want to use the wrong words here, but like, they're more the beta, than they are the alpha. So, so I've noticed that there's a lot of this avoidant attachment style, and it stems from things that you don't even begin to understand. A lot of times we blame it on the previous relationship that somebody was in, or who they're used to dating, and etc. And while that does play a keen part, a lot of times it's much deeper than that. It's much more of what they experienced as children. You know what I mean? Where there was not this like blanket of security from their parents, who are the first people that we are designed to trust. A lot of times, that's not the situation for everybody. Everybody is not born into, that kind of relationship, that kind of dynamic where they have good and supportive parents, where they have secure parenting. Some of us are neglected, some of us are abused, some of us, in different ways, because it looks like a lot of different things. It doesn't always have to be physical. And then it shows up in a different way when we, grow up. when we go to work, when we make friends, when we are in love, etc. So, and I want to point this out before I even get into something else, right? Because another thing that I noticed, the two most like common, I think, attachment styles that I've noticed and I feel like are getting more and more common as time goes on is not just the avoidant attachment style, but that anxious one, like that clingy, codependent, I can't be alone, oh my God, please don't leave me ass energy. And it's from everybody, men and women alike. And I don't even think that people realize that they have this problem. I think that, you know, society and has just put this sort of regularity to being toxic, right? Like they've made it okay to be super jealous or super insecure or super whatever. And that's the problem, is that people are so overly concerned with outside validation that it causes this, it's like it feeds these attachment styles, right? Because people would rather stay in a fucked up situation just to avoid what others will say, right? Like, it's like how everybody has now attached being single with being like, single doesn't equal misery. You know what I mean? Like, everybody who chooses to not be in a relationship or who doesn't tolerate certain behaviors is not just like, oh, there's something wrong with them. No, some people are very healthy and they are very self-aware and they love themselves enough to say, this doesn't align with me, so I'm just going to go ahead and get out of here, rather than forgiving and forgiving and forgiving and sticking and staying with things that are not to their standard, right? And it's the same for, again, it's not just women, it's men as well. They're worried about outside validation. So whether they want to admit that or not, it is what it is, because they're still like, if you ask people, right, if you can ask your group of friends, as I say that, limitations and fears, if you can ask a group of friends, like, let's do a project and y'all all write down what you're looking for in a partner, right? 5 things, make it short so that everybody's not there for hours, right? Say, write 5 things that you want in a partner, men and women. You can do this as a unisex project. I guarantee you that like 4 out of 5 people are going to list things that have nothing to do with what they actually want in a relationship. Like, they're going to list superficial shit, right? Like, I want my man to make X amount of money, and I want my girl to have this type of body, and I want my man to be from this whatever race, and I want my girl to be able to cook or whatever, like shit like that, right? Granted, that's lifestyle skills that everybody should know, but okay. But it's not gonna, like, nowhere in those little lists, in most cases, and I've seen this in real life, nobody's writing, I want them to treat me nice. I want them to share my interests. I want them to love animals because I love animals, right? Like, I want somebody who is really smart and can match my intellect, that I can have conversations with. You know, it's not like, it's just not meaningful shit that people are looking for. And that's because outside validation, they have this picture in their head that things are supposed to look like all this money and all this luxury and this perfect body that you paid $1 million for, and you know, all that stuff. And they wonder why they're not happy. Or people will literally manifest exactly what they want. I've seen this as well. I have personal relationships with people who say, like, that's exactly what I asked for, but I forgot to say exactly. Or that's exactly what I asked for, and it's my fault because I also said, I don't care if this. And that's exactly what the fuck they got. You know what I mean? But I say all that to say, no one's happy. You understand? Like, it's just a facade, and people stay in this fucking weird ass energy just to avoid being alone, or to, you know, avoid what outside validation they're seeking, you know, to not, you know, to disapprove. Whatever. I don't know. All right, let's move forward. Let's see what's going on. Right. Exactly. Oh my God. Okay, divine timing, masculine, and fire energy. Okay. Aries, Leo, Sag, masculine, and trust divine timing. Interesting. Oh, remembering and awakening also came out there. So let's see how this ties into what I was meditating about. You know, a lot of people, exactly. You see this? I can't make this shit up. Forming structure, integration with union, forming structure and solid foundations, integration and union, Pluto, and transformation. And right behind that, facade and beliefs, right? Exactly what I'm saying. It's fake. It's fake. And I think that somebody, you know, I think people are waking up to the realness of what I'm saying right now. And I think down the line, right, like this, because we're at a turning point right now. I know it doesn't seem that way, but I just feel like as a collective, we are at a turning point. And yes, there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of like, what the fuck is going on, but I think people are truly starting to really understand where they are at fault for how they've carried through this existence, you know, how they have been to their own detriment when it comes to their happiness, right? Because I think for a lot of people go through the it's everybody else and it's not me phase, right? I've been there. I'm not a perfect person. I used to be like that too. I'm an Aries. I was like that for a lot of my youth. It was like this blame game, right? Like, oh, because that one, oh, because that one, oh, because that one. And I think we're coming into a time now where people are realizing, no, this is because of me. This is not because of anybody else. This is because I have allowed too much to happen. I have not done the work to, you know, make change. I posted something, it was a repost of one of Muhammad Ali's famous quotes. And he said, a man who looks at life, what did he say? He said, a man who looks at life the same way at 50 years old as he did when he was 20 has wasted 30 years of his life. Okay? Period. And it's the reality of what I'm saying right now. It makes all the sense. Like, because there's no way in hell that someone can coast through their life for that long, right? Like, there's no way. I'm at my age now, not afraid to tell y'all, at 36 years old, I don't look at anything the way I looked at it when I was 20. I don't look at anything the way I looked at it when I was 30, to be honest. So it's like, where is the evolution, right? That I think a lot of people are actually late to this, to be perfectly honest. And again, I blame social media, all those things. But when do we blame ourselves, right? Because why am I seeking outside validation? Why do I need society to tell me? Why do I need government to tell me? Why do I need another person to tell me that this is what you should look like? This is what it should look like. This is what your partner should look like. This is what you should eat. This is what your body should look like. This is what you should work as. You know, this is where you should work, where you should live. This is how you're supposed to wear your clothes. This is how you're supposed to. Why? Why the fuck am I letting another person tell me that that's what I need to do at my big fucking age? So this is the stuff that people are waking up to now. Like, and I know some of y'all, you're mad right now listening to this, but you know I'm telling the truth. Some of y'all are sitting looking at this and you want you're my age or better, and you like, well, I guess, I could, I could be doing something a little different, or you can't, if you haven't changed your mindset about anything in 10, 20 years, you're the problem. And there's something that you need to do something about that. You need to wake the fuck up, okay? I think for a lot of us, it's in this masculine energy, not just men, but it's in that masculine energy, right? Because that's where the ego comes from. That it comes from the masculine energy, right? But that I'm telling you, that shit that I read by Muhammad Ali, it was, and there goes the emperor. John Horse is like the emperor. So masculine energy is definitely a big deal here. But it's like you're having to, you're realizing, you're waking up to this realization that you have to hone in on your self-acceptance. You have to really embrace who you are as an individual, love who you are, forgive the things that you don't love about yourself, and evolve. It's time, especially if you've been doing the same shit for God knows how long and it hasn't brought you happiness. That is the reality of the situation, okay? You got John Horus, Miss Ida, ancestors, free man. This is mad. This is all major arcana. All of it. That's the emperor. That's the high priestess. That's the motherfucking death card. Excuse me. Yep, that's the death card. And this is the fool. It's like, it's a divine awakening. It's a divine, trust divine timing. Wait, remember, awakening came up in the oracles. It's a divine awakening, okay? And with masculine and fire, it's taking action. It's actually going for it. Starting that new, finding your spark. Ooh, I like that. If y'all saw the movie Soul, it's a Disney movie, great movie, Jamie Foxx. All right, it's animated, but it was a great movie. It's called Soul. And there's a theme in the movie of finding your spark. And this is what you're doing, only you're doing it while you're still in this flesh, while you're alive. All right, you're bringing transformation. The Pluto energy is really strong because y'all had that at the bottom. And now the ancestors card is coming up, which is the death card. It's Pluto, it's transformation. Okay, Scorpio energy, Pisces, Aries, very strong. This is about evolving self. And in doing so, you will evolve your environment. You will evolve, your goals will change. The things that inspire you will change, because it's not about what someone else or some entity is telling you to be. It's about, how do I make myself, validated? How do I validate my content? Because the thing about chasing waterfalls is like, you just, someone here is realizing that this has not led them to happiness, right? The instability, the running the streets, the sleeping around, the avoiding connections. Again, not even, it doesn't always have to be romantic, but like, are you a good person? Are you building connections that matter? Do you have important connections in your life? Are you attaining the goals that you're setting for yourself, both short-term and long-term, and when you get there, are you satisfied? Because sometimes we think we have, oh yeah, I want to make 6 figures, and I want to be a lawyer, and I want to date the hottest chick alive, and we're going to go to the gym every day, and she's going to be a lawyer like me, and we're going to buy this big ass house. And you achieve all that shit. And that's great. Those accomplishments they sound fantastic. They look great to others. But are you happy? Or are you still looking for something else? Are you still like searching in search of something greater? Because if the answer is yes, and it's not to say that you can't want more, but the idea is, are you happy with what you have achieved so far? You know, when people pass away, when people die, whether it's suddenly or they know it, they knew it for a while and they're getting there, and you're talking to these people and they're in their last moments, right? Let's say that. I'm talking to these people in their last moments. I've talked to plenty of people very near their death, right? And the stuff that they talk about, especially the elderly people, the stuff that they talk about has nothing to do with what they've achieved in life. And I've known some to be quite successful. They've accomplished a lot. And nobody talks about that shit. They're not talking about it for sure when they're close to this time. And no one else is talking about it either. You know, my grandfather, he was a lot of things that I don't ever mention to anybody because they didn't matter. That's not what mattered. What mattered is how he spoke, how he made people laugh, how he used to pick on us or shit like that, right? And I say that to say, like, I dare you to like go. Even if you've never known anybody to be like old and dying or near a terminal illness or, you know, just in their old age, they don't have to be dying, right? I dare you to speak to them about what they remember most or what they loved most about their life. I guarantee you no one is going to say, oh, because I made $1 million. Oh, because I was the CEO of whatever. Oh, you know, I did this or no, they're not going to talk about shit. They're not going to talk about the yachts they had or the parties or whatever. They're going to talk about the connections they made. And it doesn't matter whether they're romantic connections, whether it's their family they're talking about, their kids, their friend, their wife, whoever. That's what they're going to be talking about. That's the stuff that they're going to remember because those are the things that made them happy. Those are the things that made them, nobody's going to say, oh yes, I remember when I was sitting in the tub hugging all my money and I was a bad bitch. You might come across one or two little fucking idiots like that, and their legacy will be just that and nothing else. No one will say that they loved them or that they were great, and almost no one will cry because they didn't make those kinds of connections with people and they didn't leave that kind of impression. And on the contrary, there are others that come close to this dying or, you know, old, or you just reminiscing on whatever, and they have regret. And, you know, they feel like, damn, I wish I could have did more. And when you ask them what that more is, same shit. Not, I wish I would have touched that $1 million. I wish I would have, you know, whatever, bought the fucking mansion. I wish I would have got my body done back in the 2000s when everybody was getting BBLs. I wish. It's none of that shit. They're gonna say, I wish I wouldn't have let that person get away. I wish I would have had a better relationship with my children. I wish my wife didn't hate me so much, or I wish I could have told my son how much I loved him. So you see the point, right? Because I know I'm carrying, but this is the energy, this is the conversation here. And so what the fuck are you supposed to do about it, right? Let's see, well, what is your advice? If this mattered to anybody, be honest with yourself, number one. And watch the success come out of that. Watch the good fortune. Watch the freedom, right? This is good fortune. This is great fortune, actually, to see Wheel of Fortune, Nine of Pentacles. But with this, Magician, Ace of Swords. be honest with yourself. Don't be afraid to walk in your truth. You're in your strength when you're in your truth, right? That's what it starts with, self. It's interesting to see all these cards because the Magician is what? 1. He's the number 1. It's on there. 1. That's self. 1 is what? The root chakra. It's you. It's your person. Self. Ace of Swords is what? 1. 1 truth. 1 divine yes. Just 1. Self in the thought process. 9 of Pentacles is what? 1. She's independent. Free. She has everything she needs for self and she can give to others. But she's abundant as fuck. Because she can take care of self. I don't know what y'all want me to, I don't get it. I don't like, I just don't get why it's taken so long for someone here. But I'm glad that you're getting here. You know, I'm glad that you've arrived to this conclusion, right? This epiphany. And it starts with that. You need to be honest with yourself. You need to be truthful with yourself. And you need very much so to not seek outside validation. That message is big for someone here. Forget about, and outside validation can be people around you, sure. But it's bigger than that. Like, I feel like it's bigger than that. I feel like it's this, like, just crazy ass mentality that has been bestowed on us since forever ago, in our childhood, in our youth. You know, the way, like, we went out into the world and it's like the world told you you had to be like this, and you were like, okay, you know, and you've been riding that wave for 20, 30 years. And it's time for a change. It really is time for change. Especially with all that Pluto. It's time to transform. For reals. For realsies. Yeah. Opportunity, and you're ready. You're ready for this change. You're ready to do something different. You know, you're ready to be your true self. Be the best version of yourself. Okay? I think for some of you it's going to be harder than others. Some of you, you know, you have a lot of people to stand up to when it comes to this. And so you may find that challenging. And some of you are not used to standing alone because it's like I said, with that insecure attachment, that anxious attachment. Like, you know, people, let me say this, and I'm not, please give me grace, right? Anxiety is very common, actually. It's become more and more common as the years go by. Has as many other mood and mental disorders, right? But the thing is this, it's treatable. Even if it's not with medicine, there are coping mechanisms, there's therapy, there are people who can help you through this process. And so go and get that help. Get the appropriate help to check that shit, because people who are anxious as fuck and don't have healthy outlets of coping or treatments, they don't have successful connections because they live in an insecure mindset. Don't shoot me. Like I said, it's treatable. But if you don't have a healthy coping mechanism, a healthy therapy, treatment, remedy for it, you will not experience healthy connections. You won't. You will not. Because your mindset will take you to the worst, most worrisome, most panicked, frantic, stressed out, frustrated, unable to sleep rest, or fucking move state of mind. And so you cannot possibly create a healthy dynamic with anybody if you're in that state constantly and you don't know how to fix it. I'm gonna lose people on this. I know I am, but I have to say that because Spirit is compelling me to say that. All you anxious ass motherfuckers, you're always gonna be worried. Is he cheating on me? Is she talking about me? Are they over there laughing at me? Did I do this wrong? Did I not give enough? Maybe they think this person's better than me. Maybe whatever the fuck it goes. You can't work like that. It's too much. You're going to stress yourself out, put yourself in a fucking stress-induced heart attack, God forbid, and you're going to destroy and push away every connection that you're trying so desperately to hold on to. So that's for someone, okay? No, I'm not a doctor. That's why I said go find the healthy treatment, therapy, coping mechanisms. Healthy. Not I'm going to smoke my life away, not I'm going to drink my life away, because that's not healthy. Healthy coping mechanisms. Spirit is telling you, it's time to grow up, especially for those of you with children, especially of those of you with whole families. And this is not just for the people who suffer from anxiety. This is people who suffer from anything. Everybody in the fucking world suffers from something. And it's time to transform that because it's affecting you. It's affecting everybody around you. Starseed message and I'm finna go. Thank you. There you go. The blue flame. Spontaneous awakening, activation, and integration time. Interestingly enough, spontaneous awakening, you had a card, the oracle at the beginning. Said awakening. You had divine timing, which looks like that blue light right there. And where's the other one? What was the other word here? Integration time. We had that. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Sorry, y'all. I got mad cards here. What the fuck is going on? Here it is. Oh, look at that union. You see what I'm saying? It's all about connections here. Integration time. But the integration is within self first. Self-acceptance. Understanding what it is you truly are, who you are, how you are. And loving that back to health so that then you can integrate with others and create those healthy connections, whether they're romantic, platonic, friends, family. For a lot of you, I see it's family here, big time. But that's all I got. That's all they got. Yes? That's a yes. I see it clear in the smoke. I wish I would have saw that. But love, light, and abundance.